Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I am so happy to be here. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. It is the 10th of November if you're listening live at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you're listening to an archive or a replay or watching the video later on, I want to also welcome you. Let's see, I want to let you know that we are over in the chat room. And you can find that by heading over to 12radio.com. That's number one, number two, radio.com. And you can find us over there. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I'm not sure if the live stream is working. Something seems wrong. Oh, no, it's working. I'm streaming from my page. I've done it twice. Okay. That's fine. Okay. Sorry, guys. I am live streaming this event, apparently from my own page on Facebook, but you can also find it on YouTube under Domestic Mystic. And of course, I'll share it into the chat room. So I'm going to do that right now. And you are welcome to watch or listen. You can't watch and listen on your player, however, because it's all out of sync. So you really have to choose one or the other. But you can definitely come find me in the chat room and visit with us there. That's a good place to ask a question and to hang out. So I'm excited. Last week on the show, we did a healing circle for the world, considering the state we were in last week of anxiety and pressure. And, wouldn't you know it, we're still in a bit of a weird energy, but we're just going to roll with that, right? Okay. I want to talk to you guys about a few of our regular things. First of all, of course, I want to let you know that I have this is fun, over on YouTube. Christy and I have our podcast that we do over there, True Crime Paranormal. And we've changed our format a little bit. We're trying something new, going from longer episodes to more frequent, shorter episodes to see how that affects, if people like that and if we like that. So we launched that this week. So rather than 3 long episodes, we actually have, or 1 long episode, we have 3 short ones. So the first 2 are out. The first one, What Happened to Chris Holverson? Chris Holverson was a guy who was from our area who disappeared when we were teenagers, and there has never been any closure in his case. So we took a hard look at that case and did a psychic read on it. And then we also reported on a really interesting case, a kidnapping from 1945 that was recently, I think, solved. So if you want to find those, just go over to True Crime Paranormal on YouTube or on any of your podcast carriers and you'll find those. But interesting. And then we have one more case that will drop tomorrow. So kind of fun to have a few extras. I'm loving it. So, okay, let's see. I want to do one more. I want to share the live stream in one more place. My poor friends, they're probably getting so sick of me. This is the second time this week I have done this. I should be streaming on my fan page, and somehow I've managed to stream onto my private page. So I apologize. That's not really what I can't. Okay, well, whatever. It's not really what my intention is for that page, but things happen. All righty. Well, as usual, I do publish a magazine every single week with some of my friends over at One to Listen, and Christy, of course, my sister is always involved in that as well. And I want to share that with you. So you can find it by heading over to katie-weaver.com. That's an easy way to find the magazine. But if you're in the chat room, I'm going to share it with you there as well. I love this. I love the cover this week, if you haven't seen it yet. If you received it also, but and if you want to subscribe to my newsletter or to my list, just head over to katie-weaver.com and you'll see a little pop up there. And if you subscribe to that, then you'll get my daily reading that goes out every single morning, and you'll get my reading that you get from, or you get Luminous once a week. So I'll send you 8 emails. So the Daily Dish every morning and then Luminous. But let's take a quick look at Luminous. Yeah, this cover, Saying to My Soul. Okay, so there's a note from me talking about some things in my world. Our baby, Scott and I's baby, turned 18 yesterday. So what the hell is that about? But can you even believe that? Because I probably can't. Wow, it's pretty wild. But we had them young and we had them close together, and now they're aging out. So actually, this kid is, I'm just ready to see what she does. She's going to blow the world up in a super good way. So I can't wait to see what she does. And even though I'm a little shocked at feeling like, wow, my youngest is about to hit the world, it's just weird to think that, she'll be off to college next year and we'll be empty nesters. I think we're too young for that, but we'll always have the piggies and the dogs, so it is what it is. I called the magazine this week the Give Peace a Chance edition because we need to, right? We need to. We've got to keep working on peace within to emanate peace on the outside and in peace in our worlds. And we've got to do it, you guys, in every capacity we can. So it doesn't mean that you have to say that what's been done to you is okay. It doesn't mean that you ever have to forgive something if you don't want to. I'm not here to tell you that. However, as a people, we have got to find a way to look beyond our differences and get better. So, and I've said it lots of times. My mom was a hippie and she raised us on peace protest music. We used to rock out to the Woodstock album all the time. We'd dance so hard in the living room, we'd make it skip. Only some of us know what that means, right? Most of us. Anyway, peace protest music is always kind of in my heart and soul. So that's the song that's in my head. My blog, my musings this week are about the Celtic Samhain. Celtic Samhain actually happens the second new moon after the equinox, and that happens to be the 15th. So that's this week. So, with that being said, the veil is still very thin. There's still a lot of connection to the other side happening. And that really rolls clear up to that date and a little beyond. But if you are feeling your ancestors, and those that have passed, be sure that you do an altar, that you cook their food, that you tell their stories, that you maybe do some research into your DNA or into your genealogy. This is a really, really good time for that, a powerful time for that. This is also a time that I'm hearing from a lot of people that they're feeling some grief. And there's a reason for that. With the sweetness sometimes comes some not sweetness. Sometimes it brings up a little bit of grief for people when they are in a space of thinking about those who have passed. And so if that's you, that's okay. That's just kind of where we are. So honor them, cook their food, talk about them, do things that honor their memory in any way that you can. That's what you can do. Okay. Bitch Scopes this week from Kelly. She says, "What do you really want and how will you get it?" Holy cosmos, Batwoman. There's a lot going on in the skies this week. Indeed, there is so much going on. So you'll have to read her article to find out what all, because I'm not an astrologer, but I've been hearing it from all of the astrologers like, wow, there's a lot going on. So it's important to know what. So I love because she will give us kind of a rundown of every day what we might, experience. For example, today, the sun trines Neptune, which will bring heightened sensitivity and compassion. That's good. We need that, right? So let's look at Scorpio's scope from her, since it's still Scorpio's birthday. You have what you need to move ahead. This season empowers you with a deep knowing. Follow the tug of passion, interest, and desire. Those will connect to your purpose. You don't need to become or obtain anything else. You're just waiting for the light bulb to come on. That seems like the Scorpios in my world. And when the light bulb comes on, whatever it is they're thinking about, we're doing it and we're doing it now. For example, 9:30 last night, pretty much already settled in for the night, and it occurs to the kid that she's 18 and hasn't really done anything 18. And so we had to go to a gas station and buy some lottery tickets. That's where it was at. So, I guess that's the Scorpio in her though. If she gets an idea if something's burning in her, it has to happen, including needing to eat. If she gets hungry, it's an emergency. It's been that way since she was a baby. Kind of interesting. Anyway, moving forward, my tip this week was also about grief. I It's just a thought. Grief goes on long after the last flower has been thrown away. Be the friend that offers support in the days, weeks, and years to come. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to be real about death. Unfortunately, this year, a lot of people have experienced people leaving the planet. A dear friend of mine has lost both of her parents now. Mom died 2 months ago, dad died last night, both to COVID. And I'm seeing that in a lot of families, losing someone to COVID or to not, but there's plenty of grief to go around this year. Don't get weird if you can. Socially, we are so bad at death. We have no idea what to do. Where we will say the dumbest things, and that's fine. Saying something dumb is better than saying nothing, right? But we tend to avoid people sometimes that are grieving because we don't know what to say. We will be very superficial and not want to talk about, the elephant in the room. It's okay. I've heard people say lots of times, well, I don't want to bring up so and so because that'll just make her sad. Bro, he's in her heart and in her thoughts every second of every day. And when you say, I was thinking about Kevin the other day and the time that he blah, 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 and how much that meant to me or how funny that was or whatever, you're not making her sad. You're making her happy because somebody else is remembering him, because somebody else is acknowledging him. Don't hold back. But if you can, with your friends that have gone through loss, make a little note on your calendar so that you remember that anniversary or think about them, especially at the holidays when things are going to get hard. It matters. It matters a lot. And if you don't think you're good at death, if you don't think you're good at knowing what to do or say, get better. That's not a reason to hide out. It's not a reason to brush that one off and hope that somebody else deals with it. That's not okay either. So if you don't know what to say, guess what? It's all right to say, I love you and I care about you and I've been thinking about you and I honestly don't know what to say. You can say that too. It's all right. But say something. Don't let your friends suffer in silence and the people that you love. And don't feel like you have to shy away from the topic. You don't. It's actually completely okay to talk about. Okay. All right. Caroline's column this week was called Why Do We Remain in the Prisons That We Create for Ourselves? I loved it. So true. We are so good at creating our own limitations and then buying in and digging our heels in hard. So, some great thoughts from her on that. Christy pulled a card from the Energy Oracle deck. It is the Breakthrough card. The primary message is opportunity, release, opening, epiphany, and new information. The challenge is resistance, fear, tension, and denial. The crystal is clear calcite. The meditation is I am open to new information. I face challenge and I release roadblocks. Okay. The Magic Monday message from Melissa is spread your wings and fly. And she's got the most beautiful postcard. That's her signature thing. She makes these gorgeous postcards based on what she's manifesting and working on, and they are pretty phenomenal. All righty. And then Anita brings to us this week the goddess Lakshmi. It is Diwali this weekend, and that's the Hindu festival of lights. And of course, the goddess Lakshmi is a big part of that. So come and read her note about Lakshmi and learn how to connect with her. This is a good time to do so. And that is Luminous. So I hope you get a chance to read through it and watch the videos. There's multiple videos in here. Jamie Dawn does a gorgeous video every single week with a ton of good information for the week. And her video this week was just so good. So I hope you have an opportunity to partake. And if there's anything that you would love to see, love to see with Luminous, let me know. And as always, if you create something that you would love to have featured in Luminous, let me know, because I would always love to feature whatever it is that you are working on. If you are, you're creating something, a piece of art, a poem, a blog, something that you would just really like to share, I would love for you to be able to bring that to me. So I will put it in Luminous. We do have a spot there for the for Reader's Corner. I just don't always keep it live because I don't always have a submission. But if I do, please know I will put it in there. I would love to do that. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about past lives. Past lives and ancestry have been huge themes lately with my clients. And so I want to make sure that we honor that, and take a hard look at it, because that's where we're at right now. That's what's coming in so strong. So that is going to be the theme. I have a recording of a past life I'm going to share with you guys, the past life regression that I'm going to share with you guys. That was done when my son was 16, and he felt like a past life regression might help him. And we did one, and I think it did. It was a really interesting experience. So I'm going to share a piece of that with you guys as well. So just know that's what we're talking about today. And if you have any questions about past lives, if you would like me to channel a past life for you, please comment in the chat. I would love to do that. That's something that I offer at One to Listen. It's something I've been doing forever, and I'd love to bring that to you guys. So be sure that you drop me a note in one of the chats if you would like that. Okay. Let me get back to the chat room. Facebook does some fancy footwork sometimes and makes it hard to find everything. I don't know. Facebook's made some weird changes lately, and it's kind of thrown off the chat room. It's really irritating, actually, but we just have to roll with it. All righty. Pamela said, being an empath, I feel all of the grief in the room and am not great at controlling it. I am always afraid that I'm going to make someone feel worse. I get that entirely. And you know what, honey? Sometimes commiserating with somebody's grief is just fine. You're not going to make them feel worse. They already feel like shit. And the love that you're bringing, even if it's laced with a little grief, that's okay. It's really not the wrong thing. Don't worry about that. But I do get it. I do. I've been to funerals before for people that, like, for example, my great grandpa, and he died close to 90, and he'd been bedridden for like 8 years. Like, it was a wonderful thing for him, And I hard cried all the way through his funeral. I was like, I don't know, maybe 20. And my sisters were like, and my husband were like, why? I mean, this is a joyous thing. But the grief in the room just overwhelmed me. And I cried the entire time, like ridiculously so. And I didn't understand so much then, but I get it now, right? I was feeling the pulse of the room. I was feeling everyone's grief in the room. And that's how it was coming through for me. I understand that. I do. And honestly, Pamela, I think sometimes crying with somebody is just as, it's fine. It's a good thing. Maybe they don't have anyone to cry with. Okay. All righty. Before I go forward, Sharon, I want to get to your question first so that I don't lose it. She said, I may have an opportunity to change units at work. Which feels better, 9 east west, 6 east west, or 5 south? They all have their pros and cons, and it may not even be my choice to make. Looks like I'm there for the time being. I really resonate with 6 East West the most. However, no matter what, a change of scenery for you is going to be a good thing. I feel like any of these will bring you some relief from the stress that you've had on the wing you've been in. So I'm going to hold space with you that the right thing comes through. It feels amazing. Okay. All right. Just taking a little peek here in the chat before we keep going. Make sure that we don't miss anything. Yeah. Oh, Carol said having a hell of a time getting moving today. Yeah. We got dropped flat today. The energy, the collective energy yesterday was quite a bit faster. And today it is, it's not as fun. It's a little slower. It's a lot slower. So if you're feeling like you're having a hard time getting moving today, or like you just really need to take a big nap, I just recommend you do it. The next 10 days are going to be a roller coaster of energy. And empaths will experience a lot of it. So take really good care of yourselves. And if you need extra rest, great. If you need to unplug from social media, do it. If you need to just have more fun, wonderful. Whatever you need to do, really good self care is going to be important. I am seeing this kind of fun trend right now of people putting up their Christmas trees and, or at least, starting to decorate, feeling like they want to do something joyful, you know, step away from some of the stress, some of the anger, some of the energy we've had and do something that feels good. And I'm all about it. You won't see my tree go up for a while because I live with pigs and I don't have it in me to fight them that long. However, I've been making Christmas presents right and left and thinking about the holidays and yeah, it feels good. Mars and I sat down on Saturday afternoon and watched a Christmas movie, and she's been listening to Christmas music, and it's killing Scott because, he'd like that stuff to start about a week before Christmas. But, it is what it is. It feels like we're all in need of some wonder and some joy this year. So, you know what? Whatever that is for you, and maybe that has nothing to do with the holidays, and that's okay too. The holidays are actually not a joyful time for many people. So that may not be a part of your formula at all, and that's fine. No pressure. But figure out what your formula is for feeling better, for nurturing yourself, and work on it. We're in a time right now where things like that truly are just so important. So that may also be about boundaries, and not doing things you don't want to do. And if that's the case, that's cool too. You don't have to do anything. Okay. I wanted to do some sound therapy today, you know, per always, actually, but I wondered if it would help us all to just elevate our own frequency and our own light. So I brought a bowl. This is a crystal bowl. I'm going to play this bowl. We're going to focus on the solar plexus. So the first time I play it, I'm just going to ask you to focus on that solar plexus and allowing your solar plexus to be cleared out. Basically, allowing the frequency of the singing bowl to remove anything you're carrying that no longer serves you. Just a good clearing. So we'll start there. So your solar plexus is the chakra right above your belly button. It's usually yellow. You don't have to see it to be able to help it work. So just hold your intention here with me. Shift your consciousness there. We're just going to clear out your belly. Any cords, connections, attachments, sludge, psychic debris, anything you're holding on to that isn't serving you. Wonderful. Okay. So I'm going to play the bowl one more time. This time, I would like you to envision your light, that light that starts at your solar plexus that burns without you, outside of you. I want you to envision that expanding, the wattage turning up, getting brighter and bigger. Will start at your belly, at your solar plexus. We're going to expand that light to encompass your whole body. Then we're going to expand that light to fill up your home, and then your town and your state, your country, and the world. Really, really brightening the light or the world with the light that we carry, because your light is one of the most important things right now. All of us, the light that we carry, the love that we carry, the peace that we carry, that's what's going to change the world. That's what's going to help us come back to a place of balance. That's what's going to help us be able to love each other. That's what's going to help us to be able to get into a place of cooperation and kindness. So we can't do it without expanding our own light. So that's what we'll do now. I'm going to play the bowl. I want you to start right there in that solar plexus, watching your light get bigger and brighter as I play. Again, we'll start with your body. So we'll start there. Seeing that light expand, brighter and bigger, surrounding your body, your home, your city, your state, your country, and the world. Perfect. Okay. And this bowl, by the way, is the frequency of E. E is, or the note of E, that's the frequency of the solar plexus, which happens to be the home of your confidence, your light, all that good stuff. So that's why that's the bowl that we used. So thank you for participating in that. That's a really good practice. Anytime that you feel like, if you're feeling, first of all, disempowered, if you're feeling like your contribution doesn't matter or you don't recognize your contribution, that's also a good practice. If you are feeling like you're not being heard or seen, it's a good way to go. Okay. Back to the chat room quickly, and then I wanted to share with you a jade bloom oil that I am loving on. There's a few, but I'm actually drinking jade bloom tea as we speak, in fact, but cranberry orange, so that doesn't suck, but okay, let me pull up my program here. Okay, so what I want to talk to you guys, I want to share Jade Bloom's holiday scents. They have a holiday scent pack that is so freaking awesome. And I'm going to share it with you guys. This is it has 3 oils in it. It has their holiday cheer, their Christmas tree, and their peppermint swirl. And I'm here to tell you, it is freaking amazing. This is one of my favorite, I honestly, probably one of my favorite things in that Jade Bloom sells. It is the holiday cheer is more, it's kind of like wassail, honestly. The Christmas tree, of course, is a piney scent, and the peppermint swirl is what you think. It smells kind of like a candy cane, and it's awesome. So it is, I think it's $29.99 for 3 5 mil oils, which is a great price, but this goes in my diffuser. It's already in my diffuser, one of them always. Sometimes I blend them, but Mars and I have already been putting them in all the diffusers in the house. So I put a link in both chat rooms if you're interested in ordering it. I am an affiliate for Jade Bloom, so when you order from them, I do get a small kickback. But if you don't order from them, it's totally cool. Or if you order from them and you don't use my link, that's okay too. Like I'm not that committed to it. I just want to share some wonderful things with you. And, talking about things that might boost your spirits and make you feel good and give you something to feel great about. This might be one of those things. So, or if you want more information about Jade Bloom, come and talk to me. They are not an MLM. They are just a really cool essential oil company. So there you go. All right. Well, are we ready? Let's talk about past lives. I have been practicing past life regression work for about 15 years. I've done, I don't know, hundreds probably of past life regressions and past life channelings. So, what's the difference? A past life regression is when I put you into a space where you can experience a past life for yourself. Kind of like a meditation slash dream slash, it's similar to a hypnosis session, but I'm not a registered hypnotist, so I wouldn't call it that per se. More of a guided imagery meditation. Most people experience it kind of like watching a television screen. Some people experience past life work more, like regression, more in feelings and sense and, you know, less seeing. And some people just see it. It just depends on the person. Everybody sees, feels, intuits differently. A past life channeling happens when I channel the information and share it with you. I used to only do past life regression. I had this idea that people needed to experience it for themselves. Like it shouldn't really be on me to create that experience for you. I'm going to help you get there like the stage manager, but I'm not going to do it for you. Well, that changed for me. Well, it actually changed on a very strange afternoon when we still had healing hands. And a man came in for a past life regression. I'd never met him before. And I had him on my table. And he said, I'm not supposed to do the regression you are. And I said, well, no, that's not really how I do it. And I explained to him what my process is. And he goes, no, that's not how you're supposed to do this one. And I was like, who is this guy? Right. This is my process. And he said, no, I want you to hold my hands and I just want you to channel the information and give it to me. He said, that's how it'll work for me. And I dug my heels in a little bit because again, I didn't usually channel past lives for other people and I didn't really want to, but that was what he needed from me. And I did try to, I tried my process to put him under and it really didn't work. It wasn't working for him. And I finally realized, okay, fine. If this is what he needs, this is what he gets, that's what we're going to do it. And so I held his hands and I channeled that past life for him for 2.5 hours. By the time it was over, I was so tired. Usually, no past life regression work for me lasts more than an hour. That's maximum because that's a lot of time out of body. That's exhausting. 2.5 hours. And it was the most incredible experience because he lived in biblical times and had a role that you wouldn't have expected. And in fact, when it first came through, I said, this is what I'm seeing, but I almost hesitate to say it. And he said, no, say it. He said, I know who I was. I need you to say it. And he was Peter of Arimathea. And it was a really interesting, really interesting. He was a biblical scholar. I am definitely not. He asked me many, many, many questions. I really wish we had recorded this because, and that I had access to it because it was an incredible experience. But he asked me a lot of pretty specific questions about what he knew to be Peter's life. Apparently, not everything I said lined up with what's been taught, but it resonated with him. Anyway, it was an amazing experience. But what I really took from it, probably more than anything, was that not everyone is a great candidate for past life regression, just due to their own hangups, their own psyche, their own intuition, whatever, their own fear, or just their own preference. So I started channeling past lives for people as well. But that's what the difference is. So I can do either for you, but that's kind of how it works. But I want to share a past life regression, a clip with you from a past life I did with my son when he was 16. He was really, really struggling at the time with grief from losing my parents, particularly my dad at that point. Mom had been gone a little longer, and he asked me, he said, I keep thinking a past life regression would help me. And so I was open to that. He had three different lives. I'm going to just share one of them with you. This is a cleaned up version. And because the audio was a little rough, some of it, and we did this about 6 years ago, but some of the time he's a little hard to understand. One of the interesting things with past life regression is that sometimes people change quite a bit. Their voice changes, the way they speak. Sometimes their face changes quite a bit. I've heard grown women speaking like little girls with a British accent, or various things like that. So it doesn't always happen, but it sometimes does. And he changed quite a bit. His whole countenance changed quite a bit based on the life we were in. So we're going to start partway through this life, but in this life, he had already expressed to me that when we started the life, all he could see was snow and sled dogs. He was being pulled by sled dogs on a sled. That's how it started, and so I'm going to start there. So let me get it up and ready. So I'm just going to let you guys listen. Again, some of it's a little hard, so I apologize for that, but just uh, close your eyes and listen, and I think the most important parts will come through for you. But we'll go ahead and start that here. Where are you now, and what do you see?
Somewhere cold. It's snowy.
How are you dressed?
Warm.
Are you male or female?
Male.
How old are you?
42.
Can you describe your appearance?
I have a brown beard, blonde, greasy hair.
What do people call you?
Rusa. I'm being pulled behind dogs.
Okay. Where do you live?
Russia.
Where are the dogs taking you?
Back home.
Where have you been?
Civilization.
What were you doing there?
Applies.
Who are you with?
No one.
Is there anyone waiting for you at home?
Yes. A daughter.
How old is your daughter?
13.
Where is her mother?
Gone.
Did something happen to her?
Bear.
Why did we visit this life?
To learn. To stop grieving. To move forward. Accept. But don't be bitter. All it does is hurt you.
What can you tell us about people who have died?
They're still there. You may not see them or feel them, but they're always there.
Thank you. Now, I'd like you to move forward to another significant event in your life.
She's leaving.
Your daughter is leaving?
Yes,
Where is she going?
into the world.
What are you feeling?
Pride and sadness.
Do you ever remarry?
No,
What does your daughter end up doing?
leaves Russia to go to school.
Does she come back and visit?
Yes,
Do you die in this cabin?
yes,
How old are you when you go?
76.
What are some of the things that you were born to learn in this life?
I learned to let go and that friends are provide. Company is the best therapy.
Do you have any regrets?
I wanted to see the world.
Why didn't you?
I was poor and stuck in my ways. I had a family.
If you could send any messages from that life to your current life, what would they be?
Don't let grief consume you and find happiness in every day. The friends you make when you're young stay if you make effort. Never give up on your dreams. It's a mistake.
What happens when you die?
My friends find me. I see my wife again. I watch my daughter grieve, but I'm here always, just as my wife was for me.
How long will you stay near your daughter?
Till I'm reborn.
Will you wait to be reborn until after she dies?
Yes,
What kinds of things can you help her with?
anything she asks for.
What kind of things do you help her with?
I give her hope and courage.
Why does she have to ask for your help?
Because I don't know what she wants or needs. Unless she says specifically what she wants, then I can help.
Is there anything else that we need to know before we go?
James are worth following.
Okay. I know some of his speech was a little garbled, but when people are under like that, sometimes they have a hard time speaking clearly. It's kind of a funny thing, but At any rate, that I thought that was a pretty profound regression. I've done many where I learned a lot about life and death and the other side and things like that. But this is one that's really stayed with me over the years. One of the funnier things to me in this regression, or a really interesting one, is that part of my script says that if you are feeling uncomfortable at any point or you're ready to wake up, you can count to 5 and wake up at any time. And when this was done, that was the third life we had visited. I said, "Are you ready to come back?" And he counted forward from 1 to 5 and sat straight up and looked at me like he was done. It was so wild. So, anyway, I no one's ever done that before or since, but anyway, he was a good candidate though, wasn't he? That was a really important life. There's others from him as well that I'll probably share at another time, but I just felt really compelled today that that's what you guys needed to hear, and it's what I needed to share. And so I hope that that is helpful for you guys. I want to jump into the chat. Amy says, "Wow, this is powerful. Sharon, this is amazing. I love it so much. It's touching my heart. Thank you for sharing." You're so welcome. And Tiffany said, "I'm in tears. That's so powerful and amazing life lessons." And it's what he needed. It was what he needed. He was in a deep state of grief. We didn't do this regression based on grief, like it wasn't our focus per se, but it is what, sometimes we'll, ask to go to very specific places. And to be honest, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. But in this case, we were just going wherever spirit sent us, and that's what happened. So Geraldine said, "I had a dream more than a month ago, and my sister from the other side showed me a Christmas tree and then a fire underneath it. I'm still wondering what that one means. I usually get messages in my dreams, not totally sure if this was a visit, only because she has never come through in 6+ years." Wow. I think it was a visit, Geraldine. I don't feel like it was a warning, though. I'm not seeing like your Christmas tree going up in flames or anything. This looks to me like it was more like a visitation and just an opportunity for her to see you. And I wonder if it's more a Christmas memory that she was passing on. It doesn't look like a true fire, in other words, like a dangerous one. Okay, Sid said, "Thank you so much for sharing your son's regression. Some of his comments brought tears. I hope he had a positive turnaround afterwards. So very powerful." He did. He did. And that's one of the things that I wanted to illustrate today in talking about past life regression is that there is some enormous healing and power, or the power of healing and potential of healing in past life work, whether it's what you're going through in this lifetime or it is a fear or a phobia that you maybe brought with you from another one. I'll share another regression with you guys here in the next couple of months that we were focusing on health issues. And she had an amazing turnaround from celiac disease, actually, with this regression and understanding where it came from. That's pretty rare, actually, but we had an amazing experience on that, and I'll definitely share that with you guys at some point as well, for sure. But at any rate, these are some of the thoughts I had about past lives and what I wanted to share with you guys. Let's do a couple of past life channelings before we run out of time. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Pamela said, back to our conversation about being empaths, and dealing with death. She said, "I sobbed at an uncle's funeral. I don't think I saw him more than once in my life. He must have been an empath or a hermit. He even used to retreat to his room when his own kids and grandkids came over. Probably an empath. My auntie was wonderful and gave me the biggest hug." Sure. Yep. You were processing everyone else's grief through your body. Yep. I get it. Okay. Let's see, guys. Let me get back up here. Sorry. All right. Tiffany would love a past life reading. All right, Tiffany, let's tune in here. Okay. We're starting this life. You are a little girl. I'm going to say you're right around the age of 9 or 10. You're with two women. Looks like your mother and an aunt. Very Victorian. You're all like dressed to the nines and you are shopping. It looks to me like this is perhaps England. You this is a wealthy family. You are you're shopping and she's holding your hand. You're basically walking down a street where there's lots of shops that you're entering, and the ladies are chatting and you're with them. Looks like kind of a little girl's shopping trip, really. So that's where we're starting here. Let's see where it goes. Okay. You are injured. So that from this trip, somehow you end up getting injured by your buggy or somebody else's, but you get ran over. There are so many people in the street gathered around you. Your mother is screaming, and they gather you up. It looks like maybe you broke your back. You end up crippled from that, like your legs don't work at all. And your mother is so consumed with guilt. She feels like this was her fault. And yeah, and your father he treats her that way as well, that this was her fault. And it was just an accident. But she's kind of ostracized actually in their community and treated differently. And you are treated differently. You had been a family that had quite a bit of influence and affluence. And from this injury, like she isn't really the debutante she'd been. And you also are not. You're treated quite differently. And it's really, really hard on her. You're actually a pretty happy kid. I see you in some kind of looks more like a stroller than a wheelchair, but I think that's kind of how they looked then. But you managed to get by quite well. She, however, is so messed up by this that I feel like she doesn't live very long, only a few years after that. But then it's you and your dad, and you guys do very well together. And I feel like overall, this is a life where you have your needs met, but but that's what happened to you in that lifetime. So I guess I should ask why was that the life I was shown? Okay, it's a reminder to you. I love this. They said it's a reminder to you that regardless of challenges or boulders put in your path, you can move beyond them, through them, over them, and still bloom where you're planted and find happiness that you've done it before. But there's also kind of a release there of guilt, and mother's guilt, which is interesting. I think you and I both understand that piece, but releasing that mother's guilt as well, or that guilt around this accident that she was holding. And I think that maybe you ended up carrying too, since, you ended up somehow in the street. Anyway, that's the life. Very interesting, Tiffany. Okay, you guys. Well, we've done what we do. You know how it goes. We've talked down to the end of the show. I want to thank you guys very much for being here with me. I want to remind you that I'm a professional psychic advisor over at one2listen.com, and you can find me over there every single day. And if you want some past life work, just let me know and we'll set something up that I can help you with anything that you're working on over there. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific with Kelly for Read Me with Katie and Kelly. We'll be taking calls. That's a whole hour of readings. So come check in with us there. Thanks so much for being here. You've been listening to The Katie Weaver Show here on 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way